LeBron always moves strange, not like Kobe.
Michael Jordan wasn't just throwing subtle shade when he said LeBron moves strange, not like Kobe. He was sending a clear message. For years, Jordan has made it obvious that he's never fully respected LeBron James, and that tension has quietly grown into a silent feud. From the moment LeBron was labeled the chosen one, MJ dismissed the hype, never buying into the narrative that was being pushed around him. Meanwhile, Kobe Bryant earned Jordan's respect through relentless work, competitiveness, and humility, which is why Kobe received the mentorship that LeBron never did. What makes this story even deeper are the behind-the-scenes details Jordan has reportedly alluded to, including controversial associations that raised his eyebrows and further widened the gap. This isn't just about basketball legacy, it's about mindset, respect, and why Jordan believes LeBron never truly walked the same path as the legends before him.
LeBron Smith was a guy, when I got cut, he made the team on the varsity team. But he started the whole process for me because when he made the team and I didn't, I wanted to prove not just to Leroy Smith, not just to myself, but to the coach who actually picked Leroy over me. I wanted to make sure you understood you made a mistake, dude.
Michael Jordan's entire identity has always been built on competitiveness. He isn't called the most ruthless winner in NBA history by accident. Jordan didn't just want to win games. He wanted to break opponents mentally and physically. That fire never disappeared after retirement. It stayed with him and continues to shape how he views anyone who comes after him, especially players seen as challengers to his throne. So when Jordan turned on the TV in 2002 and saw a teenage LeBron James from Akron, Ohio on the cover of Sports Illustrated labeled The Chosen One, it didn't feel like praise for the future. To Jordan, it felt like a direct challenge to everything he had already built. By that point, MJ's legacy was untouchable in his own eyes. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, a global billion-dollar brand, and a reputation forged through pain, sacrifice, and domination. LeBron hadn't played a single NBA minute yet, and the media was already talking about him as the next king. That rubbed Jordan the wrong way, because to him, greatness is never handed out. It's earned brick by brick, season by season, through real battles. Jordan entered the league in 1984 and immediately faced brutal wars with the bad boy Pistons, constant criticism for shooting too much, and years of doubt before he silenced everyone with championships and historic performances. If anyone doubts how deeply personal Jordan takes competition, they only need to watch his 2009 Hall of Fame speech. On the biggest night of his career, instead of offering polite thank yous, Jordan used the moment to settle old scores with coaches, rivals, and executives. No one was safe. That speech revealed a man who never forgets slights, never lets go of perceived disrespect, and never stops competing. And when Jordan looks at LeBron, that same fire still burns, because in his mind, the crown isn't something you're crowned with by headlines, it's something you take.
Between the two, that'd be a tough choice. But 5 beats 1.
Michael Jordan never forgets anything. So when the media rushed to crown LeBron James as the heir to his throne, that narrative went straight into MJ's mental filing cabinet. Even LeBron has acknowledged the distance between them. In a 2025 appearance on the Pat McAfee show, LeBron admitted there is no real relationship between him and Jordan. That's what makes the situation so strange. Jordan was LeBron's idol growing up, the player whose posters covered his bedroom walls. For someone as widely respected as LeBron, it's unusual that his hero never reached out, especially considering Jordan formed close bonds with other stars. Kobe Bryant, for example, received mentorship and a genuine big brother relationship from Jordan. LeBron never did. And here's the irony. The very things that made fans fall in love with LeBron are the same things that pushed Jordan away. The nonstop hype, the magazine covers, the chosen one label, all of it rubbed MJ the wrong way. To Jordan, those weren't signs of greatness, they were red flags. In his mind, greatness is never handed out by the media. It's earned through blood, sweat, sacrifice, and championships. This tension goes far beyond simple basketball drama. It's about an empire, one Jordan built and refuses to let anyone rewrite. MJ didn't just dominate the NBA, he redefined what a superstar could be. Before him, players like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird carried the league, but they didn't globalize it. Jordan did. He turned basketball into pop culture. Air Jordans became a worldwide obsession. Be Like Mike wasn't just a slogan, it was a movement. Space Jam turned him into a movie icon. Every dunk, every finals moment, every commercial added to the myth. So when LeBron arrived and the media began whispering that he might surpass Jordan, MJ didn't hear praise for the next generation. He heard a threat. Jordan is obsessed with legacy in a way few athletes ever are. While most players move on after retirement, MJ still listens, still reacts, and still bristles when the GOAT debate resurfaces. Whenever another name comes up, he subtly reminds everyone of the standard. 6 finals appearances, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs. Now imagine being that competitive and watching a teenage phenom get compared to you before he's even played an NBA game. That kind of comparison would burn anyone, but especially Michael Jordan. History shows how he responds to perceived threats. When rookie Allen Iverson crossed him up, Jordan answered with 55 points. When Clyde Drexler was mentioned in the same breath, MJ demolished him in the 1992 finals. That's who Jordan is. He doesn't lose to hype, and he never forgives anyone he sees as coming for his crown.
What's the foul all day long?
Oh, I know you ain't talking. I know you ain't talking.
Hey, you only got 3 now. I get 6. How do I get that foul? You only got 3 now.
You right, can't say none of that. Hey, Mike, you gotta shoot it quick. I'm getting to that.
I had you already.
Yeah, but I'm getting to that. I know where you're going. I'm getting to that.
No.
You gotta get up quick.
If you knew where I was going, why you go for the fake?
Mike, after you fade the ball, where else you
You
going?
left your feet.
Yeah, but where else you gonna go?
In the game, I go for these.
I spun all the way
I go for these screens right here.
I spun all the way around and got you.
That was always Jordan's mentality. You don't get to breathe his air unless you earn it. And even when you do, he'll still remind you who controls the room. With LeBron, Jordan never had the chance to settle things on the court because their careers barely overlapped. So instead, the battle shifted to the media. Whenever reporters asked MJ about LeBron, he gave polite respect, but the tone was always cold, calculated, and intentional. He talked about championships, he praised Kobe, and whenever the idea of a successor came up, Jordan made it clear, without ever saying it directly, that LeBron wasn't welcome at his table. That's how deep it went. To understand why the Chosen One cover bothered Jordan so much, you have to look at how different their journeys were. Jordan wasn't chosen, he was doubted. He was cut from his high school varsity team as a sophomore, forced to grind for every minute at North Carolina. When the 1984 NBA draft arrived, he wasn't even selected first or second. He went third, behind Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie. His entire career was built on being overlooked, and he turned every slight into fuel. LeBron's path couldn't have been more different. The hype was overwhelming from the start. He was on ESPN as a teenager, selling out arenas while still doing homework. By the time the 2003 draft arrived, Nike, ESPN, and celebrities like Jay-Z were treating him as basketball's savior. He wore number 23, signed a massive Nike deal before playing a single NBA game, and embraced the nickname King James. To Jordan, it looked like the world was crowning someone before they had earned anything. Jordan's competitiveness was never just about beating opponents, it was about control. Control of the narrative, control of his legacy, and control over who even deserved to be mentioned in the same conversation as him. He guarded that space like a fortress. Even decades later, the subtle shade still shows up in interviews. He'll compliment LeBron, then quickly pivot to Kobe, to championships, to eras. It's his quiet way of saying, "You're great, but you're not me." That's why the Chosen One cover felt like a breaking point. If that magazine symbolized LeBron's coronation, Jordan saw it as an attempted coup. To him, the media wasn't just hyping a young star, it was trying to rewrite basketball royalty, and that wasn't going to happen on his watch. Because here's the truth, Jordan already chose his successor. And it wasn't LeBron James, it was Kobe Bryant, the player he actually embraced, his true basketball little brother. Once you break it down, the reasons are obvious. First, there was personality. Kobe and Jordan were built from the same steel, cold, ruthless, and relentlessly obsessive. Neither cared about being liked, they cared about winning. They shared that killer instinct, the willingness to alienate teammates, take impossible shots, and shoulder everything just to dominate. That was the Jordan formula. And when MJ watched Kobe play, it was like looking into a mirror. He recognized that fire immediately because it was the same one that had driven him his entire career.
You have to put up with the aggravation, the late night calls, or the dumb questions.
LeBron, on the other hand, was wired very differently. His game has always been about making the correct basketball play, reading the floor, trusting the system, and passing to the open man. To most fans, that's unselfishness and high IQ basketball. But to Jordan, it came across as softness. In MJ's world, the alpha takes the shot when everything is on the line. You live or die with the ball in your hands. That was the code he lived by, and anything less didn't fit his definition of dominance. The difference became even clearer in their work ethic and approach to mentorship. Kobe didn't just admire Jordan, he studied him like scripture. He copied the footwork, the fadeaway, the swagger, even the cadence of his trash talk. Kobe has openly admitted that he called Jordan late at night, sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning, asking about moves, counters, and mindset, whatever it took to get better. That obsessive pursuit of Jordan's approval built a bond rooted in mutual respect and shared obsession with greatness. LeBron never chased that same relationship. He idolized Jordan, but he wanted to be LeBron, not the next MJ. His path was about innovation, not imitation, and because of that, the bond never formed. Jordan respected him from a distance, but he never let him inside the circle. The emotional divide says even more. When Kobe passed away in 2020, Jordan's tribute was raw and unforgettable. He called Kobe his little brother and broke down in tears while speaking. That wasn't performance or image, it was real love. That kind of emotion only comes from years of private conversations, shared battles, and mutual grind. LeBron never had that connection. There were no midnight calls, no mentor sessions, no brotherhood, just silence. And in this context, that silence speaks louder than words. At its core, this isn't just about skill or personality, it's about legacy. Jordan saw Kobe as a continuation of his own mythology, the ruthless, win-at-all-costs mindset that defined an era. LeBron represented something different: player empowerment, friendships across teams, political voice, and using his platform in ways Jordan never did. To someone who spent his career tightly guarding his image and avoiding controversy, that version of leadership felt foreign and perhaps even threatening. That's why Jordan's tone still shifts today. When he talks about Kobe, there's warmth, admiration, and emotion. When he talks about LeBron, it's polite, clipped, and technical. And for LeBron, the kid who grew up worshiping Michael Jordan, that absence of approval has to sting. Because in basketball, there's no crown heavier than the one Jordan wore, and no validation more powerful than his.
Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
Kobe was my dear friend. He was like a little brother.
In NBA culture, silence often speaks louder than words. Traditionally, legends pass the torch to the next generation. Magic Johnson openly embraced Kobe Bryant when he entered the league. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar mentored Shaquille O'Neal and symbolically handed him the crown as the next dominant big man. Bill Russell regularly showed up to finals games to personally congratulate and support stars like Kobe and Kevin Garnett. That's how basketball royalty has always operated, face-to-face, respect to respect. But when it comes to Michael Jordan and LeBron James, that moment never came. No public embrace, no mentorship, no symbolic gesture, nothing. LeBron himself has openly admitted they don't talk at all, not even a casual check-in, and that absence tells its own story. What makes the silence even louder is that LeBron has consistently shown respect. He's called Jordan his inspiration and credited him as the reason he picked up a basketball in the first place. Yet despite all that praise, LeBron's entire career has unfolded under the cold shadow of Jordan's refusal to engage. That quiet distance became a storyline of its own, an unspoken rejection that followed LeBron everywhere he went. And things grew even more complicated when rumors about LeBron's off-court associations began circulating. At that point, Jordan's distance no longer looked like indifference. To some, it started to feel like confirmation. The situation escalated when Jordan made a comment that set the internet on fire, saying LeBron always moved strange, not like Kobe, followed by a subtle reference to the Diddy situation. This wasn't a random online rumor or fan speculation. Those words came directly from Jordan himself. That's when the narrative exploded. People immediately recalled an old Instagram live clip where LeBron was laughing with Diddy and saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." For years, moments like that were treated as harmless internet chatter, jokes about celebrity circles and Hollywood access. But once Jordan publicly alluded to it, the tone changed. What had been gossip suddenly carried weight because the greatest player of all time had drawn attention to it. By 2025, the context around those references had shifted dramatically. Diddy's legal troubles had reached a critical point, with convictions on multiple counts following years of serious allegations from former partners, including claims of abuse, coercion, and long-term exploitation. Numerous lawsuits painted a disturbing picture tied to power, influence, and control. In that environment, Jordan's earlier distance and comments were reinterpreted by many not as coincidence, but as deliberate judgment. Whether fair or not, Jordan's silence and the rare moments when he broke it became part of the larger narrative surrounding LeBron's legacy, reinforcing just how powerful unspoken disapproval can be in NBA history.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Now imagine how it all looks from the outside. LeBron is sitting on a casual Instagram live joking around with Diddy, completely relaxed. Michael Jordan sees that, and to someone like MJ, perception is everything. Jordan built his entire empire on discipline, control, and flawless branding. His image was clean, calculated, and bulletproof. So when he later said, "When that Diddy stuff came out, I knew I was right," he wasn't spreading rumors or chasing gossip. He was doubling down on a judgment he felt he'd already made. To Jordan, this wasn't about one moment, it was about patterns. He saw a superstar getting too comfortable, too casual around risk, and in his mind, that confirmed what he'd always believed, that LeBron moves differently, maybe even recklessly. That single comment didn't just reopen old wounds, it completely shifted how fans interpreted Jordan's long silence. Suddenly, people started asking whether MJ's distance wasn't about rivalry at all, but about warning. The internet exploded. Memes flooded timelines, and that one Instagram clip was treated like evidence. Fans piled on, saying LeBron wasn't Kobe, wasn't disciplined enough, wasn't refined, and wasn't worthy of Jordan's mentorship. Jordan didn't need to explain himself further. That moment did the talking for him. Even LeBron's biggest defenders had to admit it made things uncomfortable. When the greatest player ever looks at you and says, "You don't move right," that kind of statement sticks to your name, your image, and your legacy. But this tension goes deeper than just Jordan and LeBron. It fits into a much bigger NBA tradition. The league has always thrived on rivalries and personal friction. In fact, half of basketball history feels more like a diss track than a clean sports documentary. That's why MJ versus LeBron feels so familiar. Look back at Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. That wasn't just a rivalry, it was a cultural war. East Coast grit versus West Coast flash. Showtime Lakers versus Boston's blue-collar toughness. They carried the NBA on their backs as sworn enemies, even though they later became close friends. Then there was Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan, a rivalry fueled with real hostility. The Pistons' Jordan rules were basically sanctioned violence, designed to break MJ physically and mentally. Jordan hated it, and decades later, he still hasn't let it go. The Last Dance made that crystal clear. That's how deep NBA grudges run. And of course, there's Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, teammates who won 3 straight championships while openly taking shots at each other through interviews, music, and late-night TV. That tension didn't weaken their legacy, it made it iconic. That's why it shouldn't shock anyone that Jordan doesn't fully embrace LeBron. In the NBA, beef isn't an accident, it's tradition. It's baked into the league's DNA. Fans expect it, the media amplifies it, and players understand that conflict keeps names alive long after the final buzzer. NBA rivalries are no different from rap feuds or Hollywood shade wars. They're personal even when they pretend to be professional. Rappers throw shots in lyrics, celebrities sneak jabs into interviews. The NBA just does it louder, with brighter lights and higher stakes.